We are here with episode 3 of Real Time with Rachael. As usual, coming to you with exciting information about whatever is going on for me in real time. Today, we are talking to my friend, Laurie Chriest of Laurie Chriest Interior Design. She is based here in Seattle, but she works all over the world. All right, all over the country. And she is really great. She does work in Mexico. And we are so excited to have you with us today. And thank you for being here, Laurie.
Thanks, Rachael. Thanks for having me. It's so exciting to be here and have a little chit chat with you and see what's going on with you and talk about some things that are going on with me.
I am so into your Instagram page. It's so good. Like every time somebody either tags you in a post or you post something, I am always wishing that I can live in whatever house that is that you have designed. So thank you for sharing. And we will certainly post your information so that everybody can follow you as well. But I have just loved seeing all your stuff. You are really imaginative and your design eye is just so fantastic. You work sometimes with my other very good friend, Andrea Brond, and she is not only my friend, but I have collaborated with her on several projects myself. And I just respect both of you so much. So I'm really, really thrilled that you could join me today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Andrea, she's great. I love working with her. It's always fun to collaborate with Andrea. Just we're just a great team to just bounce ideas off of each other. It always turns out much better when we're working together. And I just love her energy that she brings, and her eye.
You guys are both just so talented. And yes, her eye and your eye also. Just every time, I ask her for her opinion, and she makes one little small thing, and all of a sudden it's like perfect. I'm like, what? I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, she's kind of the lifestyle queen. It's like when it comes to anything that has to do with just creating a beautiful setting for whatever you have going on. For Andrea she just knows what to do and how to make it, how to fill in all the blanks, and it's just so luscious and amazing.
And that's all the plug we're giving her, because I invited her to be here too, and she declined not that graciously. So Andrea, this is all you get.
Okay.
And now we're moving on to Laurie. So tell me and tell our audience a little bit about you and your business, and then we'll get into like some of the nitty gritty.
Okay, so I'm an interior designer. I work in the luxury market. Definitely focus a lot on residential. I really like the personal aspect of residential. That's just always been my thing, just because I love people and finding out what they want and being involved in that. But I also do a lot of resort design, so kind of resort homes, or doing some things down in Mexico with Flora Farms, which has just been a really inspiring and exciting project to work on as well. So kind of do all different things. That's kind of the beauty of the industry that I'm in. You work with somebody on their home, and then they're like, okay, well, we've got this other thing that we want to do, and you build a relationship. And I've just been very, very fortunate to have that opportunity to expand from, one project to the other in that way.
Does most of your business just come organically through just private clients, builders, architects?
Yeah, I'm very referral based, just like your industry. A lot of it is like that. Yeah. So, real estate agents, builders, architects, repeat clients, or clients who've had a good experience and they have a friend who's doing something. That's just definitely, it's all referral.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite? Like, is new construction your favorite, or is it kind of fun to go in and completely change somebody's environment based on whatever they want a new look, or they want a new trend, or they want a new style? Like, what's your favorite thing to do?
I mean, I love doing new construction because you just have the ability to create. It's a blank canvas, right? It can just be anything. And so you just have the opportunity in such a case to really have, input on every single thing. So the flooring, the architectural detailing, the lighting, the furniture, everything, right? So that is really fun, and it is great to be able to start blank with a person because a lot of times they know kind of what they want, but I'm just pulling off cues from them to really create a style for them from the ground up. So I do love that, but also I have to say I'm very good at doing remodel stuff too. My brain just kind of works like a puzzle, and where people can't, they can only see what they've been seeing, and so I love going in and just being able to, in a way, I kind of just close my eyes and reimagine it in a different way. But
that's so cool.
Be very innovative. You have to be innovative and be able to I don't know. You have to, it's like a puzzle, I guess.
That's a good way to put it. I never really heard it like that before, but it does make sense because, you're dealing with a certain space, and then maybe you have to find furniture for that space, and, maybe you can't change the structural pieces of it. So you're maybe changing some of the interior design pieces of it, but not necessarily like you can't move a wall or we can't do this. And so I love seeing those before and after pictures though, like on Instagram or wherever. Like that's my most favorite. You're like before, and then you hear like the harp, and then it's like the after.
The after, yeah. Yeah.
It's always really fun to see those. And I would think being in your line of work, that is one of the coolest parts of the job, is just like to be like, ta-da, at the end.
Yeah. It is good to kind of go back and look at those pictures and go, this looks amazing, but it looks even more amazing because you see where you came from and where you started. And it's always, the big drum roll on the reveal on that.
What are some of the benefits of working with a designer? Because, lots of people, like lots of my clients are like, oh, I'm going to design this whole space. This is no problem. Like, I'm just going to do it myself. And like for me, for instance, I know what I like, but I have no idea how to acquire it. And so like, that's why I call Andrea all the time for stuff. And thank God she sometimes picks up my calls. But like, I really don't know how to acquire anything. And I would think that would be one of the leading reasons, on top of just even, you might have a great design eye, but like, getting to the source. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, for designers, this is what I do every day. I've been doing this for many, many years, and I have a lot of resources, right? So, what people are seeing, it's like the same thing you see everywhere, but like a designer definitely has a lot more resources and can, make things give you a little bit more of a custom look in that respect. But really, I mean, I see myself as, I'm sort of that lifestyle coach in a way. It's for your space, right? And just think about, I mean, even me, if I'm designing something for myself, I get blinders on and I'm not looking at the things the way that somebody from the outside looking in, who hasn't been in the space or hasn't seen what it was, but get to know you and what it is. What are you trying to achieve? What do you really want? And to, pull that out of you so that they're like, what I do is like, it's big picture, right? To start out with, I'm thinking of a big picture, and I'm not I don't start out with, okay, well, what pillow do we want?
Right.
Whatever.
Item.
And everything has to add up towards that big picture idea and the concept. And it's so much easier to have somebody stand outside and do that than it is to sometimes for yourself.
Yeah. Okay. What about, you made some notes, and I'm just going to look at a couple things and just talk a little bit about, because I want to, like, you wrote so many great things down here. And when we talked in preparation, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, we'll talk about that. When I originally called you to talk to you about this, I was like, let's talk about like trends for the holidays. And you were like, I don't really want to talk about trends for the holidays because trends are... So talk to me about trends and why trends are
Well, I think trends develop out of what's going on in our life and in our society and all that kind of thing. So I think trends are good if they're informed by those things that are going on. What I just don't like is like, oh, it's the modern farmhouse trend, and so that's what I want.
Oh my God.
Here's the picture, and this is it, and there's nothing wrong with that, because the reason that is a trend is because of our values. And it's like, we want to use our whole home. We don't want it to be just a showcase. We want it to be livable and functional, and create space for a big family or something like that. So
Right.
I guess I think the trend, the highlight of the trend isn't what the trend. The trend is underscored by something else that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really like the personal side of design, to be like, okay, well, let's see what things you're interested in and what things you're attracted to. But let's find out like the nuances of how we can make that yours, how we can make that you. So whether it's holidays, it's kind of the same thing, right? Certain holidays, people are like, we just really want it to be, simple and comfortable, and so you're seeing for holidays trends where people are like, it's nature inspired and things like that, which can still just be just a wonderful, welcoming experience. It just might be a little bit different than what we were thinking of holidays, maybe 5 or 10 years ago.
Right,
we were
right.
Like, every ball in the house, let's get it on the tree.
I know. I'm always really like into the holidays because I don't have a Christmas tree. So like, I'm like the sad Jewish girl who's like always, like, what are you doing for the holidays? What are you doing for the holidays? So originally when I was like, let's talk about holiday trends, it's because I have to live vicariously through some of my friends. And so, I always enjoy the holidays, of course, and I have a couple little things I decorate with. And of course, I have some Hanukkah decorations, but it's not quite the same. It's kind of the sadder of the two holidays, let's be honest. So I always like
nice
that.
to include both.
One thing, there's a couple of rooms in the house I want to talk about.
Okay.
So let's start with the pandemic hot room of the house has been the Zoom room. Everybody has a Zoom room.
Yeah, exactly.
So now that people are kind of starting to go back to work, although people don't really want to go back to work anymore, because why would you want to go back to work when you could stay at home and sit in your Zoom room? Yeah. Are people asking you for this as a design element of their homes?
Well, specifically, people came out of the office where they were already spending so much time in designed spaces, right? A lot of the commercial spaces and offices are designed, and they're kind of used to going out and doing that kind of thing. And so when it comes into their house, and then suddenly they're there all the time looking around, and they're like, oh my gosh, what can I do? So not just Zoom rooms, but more of like, let's, restyle this bookcase, so that it just doesn't look like, I just pulled out 5 books I didn't want to read and shoved them in there. So, just really create a nice background for what they're doing, and to create more professional, some spaces that are more professional, that it can be, so it looks like, you're being productive and you're in a professional setting where you can get work done. So
sometimes even when I was watching the evening news during the pandemic, I'd be like, she needs to change her background a little bit. Like, that doesn't look so good. Like, we need to put a manual out about that. Maybe you might want to think about that. Just about I don't know, how's my background? I probably could use
that looks
help.
Good. No, it's fun.
So, but like your background, wherever you're sitting, has like great depth. Like, that's really good. I like that.
Thank you. This is my office. It
works. Like,
I just had to clear everything off my desk and make it look like.
All right.
Yeah, but I think that was a big. Again, here's an example of how the trend, follows what's happening in our lives. But everybody was sort of home, and so they needed to take their home and divide it into spaces. And just like it was important to have a place that was, professional and efficient and that kind of a thing. The other side of it was more so people were like, I need a refuge. I need a place I can go.
Right. I
where no one's
definitely
gonna see
noticed
me.
that. Yes,
Yeah. So
because, I work with a lot of builders and the trend seemed to shift in the last few years. First, we were seeing like, oh, great rooms, great room this, great room that. And then all of a sudden now it's like, wait, maybe we need more smaller spaces so that people can get away from each other. And it started to go away from that great room. Like it was a little bit smaller. Maybe there was a bigger gathering space in a different part of the house. But like the main part of the house became a little bit more compact compared to
kind
how
of
it
more
used to
intimate.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
So it's kind
everybody
of
was,
interesting.
wanting comfort and, to feel, it's just basically the comfort and being able to feel really cozy and safe.
Right. But also to have a door between them.
Yeah.
Right?
No, well, that's true. Yeah. I was, I have a home studio, so I've always kind of worked from home, and it was fun when suddenly my husband was now working from home as well, and he was on the other side of this wall right here.
You're like,
and yeah,
knock 3 times.
Yeah. And he's talking on the phone all day. I'm just like, oh gosh.
It's really hard. I mean, I moved into my own space at the beginning of 2022, and I had my daughter, but now she's off to college, as anybody who's listened to this knows. We talked about empty nesting, but I was like, what do I want my space to feel like? Where do I want to be? How do I want it to feel? And like, I really did I got rid of some of my furniture. I got a few new things. I called Andrea a few times for some help. Like, should my couch go over here or over here? Like, I really did think about how I wanted my space to feel, because I do work from home more than I go into the office, probably just because it's comfortable. And, there's still not that many people going into our office, but, or I'm out and about with clients anyway. But it does make such a difference just to be able to have your space like feeling comfortable. And I'm wondering, let's say that I know you work mostly with like, higher end luxury, but what if you're just somebody who like wants to spiff up a space? Let's just say their home office. It's like, stacked with the books or the 5 books that they pulled out of the bookshelf or whatever it is. Like, are there some little things that are maybe not like super, super high end that they could do to just kind of like bring some warmth to their workspace in their home?
Yeah, I think basically what you said you were doing is a great place to start. I think the first thing that you need to do is ask yourself, what emotion do you want to feel when you're in that space, right? Is this a space that you want to be exciting, or is this a space that you want to be more relaxed, or, what is it? So that's a great place to start. And then from there, it's a declutter, like pull everything out, move it all around, like see what you have to work with, because you're just so used to seeing things just the way they are, right? Many people, it's like I got this new lamp. Oh yeah, there it goes.
Right, exactly. Sometimes I think people need permission to move their stuff around. Like, oh, that credenza's always been right there. I can't move it. Like, it's always been right there. And then they move it and they're like, well, damn, that looks great there. Like, why didn't I do that 2 years ago? So like,
and a lot of times objects have like a certain meaning for somebody too. And so it's like, well, so-and-so got me that, so it has to be this place, or, whatever. It has a certain meaning to it. But that's the best trick is really just to take everything out of the space, take everything out, and take all your accessories and put them all on one table.
Okay.
And then when you see them there, you can kind of see how things look together and how they group. And, you can even say, this is the one thing that I know for sure that I need to have in there, and that maybe you can let a couple of the other things go, but then only start bringing back in the things that, really have a purpose and really are doing what it is that to create that feeling that you want. So, I mean, to be able to just do like a quickie makeover like that it just shifts the energy. And then, it goes from there, right? Once you even just do a few things like that, then that's the blank canvas that you can start with, that you can add to and go, okay, well, what I really need here is I need a round mirror that's going to reflect the light. And we need, there's some things that you can bring in to add to it. But and then there's always paint.
Right. There's always paint.
There's always paint.
Let's talk about that. Do you have a go-to color that you love? I know everyone's style is different, but like, for instance, we do like a little refresh, we have like a little formula that we do for some of the homes that we bring on the market in this one specific neighborhood. And I just rinse and repeat on the formula because it works so well for this particular crop of homes, which are lovely, lovely homes. I have a color I love, and I use it all the time. But now I'm like, then one of my painters was like, you should use such and such a color. And I was like, oh, wait, what? We usually use agreeable gray. What are you talking about? Now you want me to use puddle or whatever, like, is there a color that you, like a neutral color that you love? Let me say this. Let me say more. If you have white moldings, is there a color that you love that's neutral to go with white moldings?
It's so funny that you say that, because it's like, I'm one of those designers. I just do things so custom. So it's really hard for me to say, here's the color that works for everything.
Dang it. I wanted some free advice, but I'm not getting any free advice today.
Sorry. Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh. Should I use snowflake? Should I use snowball? I mean,
It goes back to design school. I had this professor who was like, okay, as a designer, here's the one thing you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to have a favorite color.
Oh, no. Okay, so I should put it in my head like, no more agreeable gray. And I mean, I
do like agreeable
gray is nice.
It's agreeable.
Color. Yeah, it's agreeable. But sometimes if the light is hitting it weird, it can look too blue. So it doesn't always work, depending on which way the house is facing and all that stuff. And I suppose that's why you're not supposed to have a favorite color, because paint looks different. I lived in this house up in Woodridge when, I don't know, way back when, maybe 6 years ago. And it had an incredible light. It was west facing. It was like a mid-century modern. And I painted the whole house Metropolitan gray, I think. My walls were purple. They were 1,000% lavender. And I was like, shit, I have lavender walls now. I never changed it because
you never
did
a small patch test to see.
I did, but I should have done it like in more places and let the sun go down and the sun come up and have it be morning. And anyway, I really messed it up.
Yeah, I think, I love neutrals. I think just in general, we're seeing a lot, the grays were really popular for a while, and now we're seeing a lot more of the warmer kind of gray undertones coming through. People are looking for things that have a little bit more sunny quality to them, because around here, the grays can just be kind of...
What are you talking about? Just because it's snowing outside today.
Exactly.
For those of you watching or listening, it is Tuesday, and we have had little snow flurries on and off today, and it's just been the grayest of days today, right?
Yeah.
So, a yellow wall would be great.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I didn't say paint it yellow.
You said sunny. You didn't say yellow.
I'm saying a warm gray. So beige, grayish, whatever, it's just, but basically not the cool grays, not the blues and the purple kind of grays, but the grays that do have a little bit of almost like a pink or slightly bit of a yellow undertone, I think, are things that I'm seeing, and I'm choosing a lot pretty often.
Let me ask you one other paint question. You wrote all these great things on here, but I have a question about paint. Okay. As a realtor, sometimes I go into homes all the time. Like just recently, I went to a listing appointment and they had so many accent walls. So many. And he was like, what should I do about all these accent walls? And I was like, we got to get rid of all the accent walls. And he was like, why? We've enjoyed this red wall so much. What's the story with accent walls? And is there another way we can accent the wall without painting it red?
True. Yes. The story with accent walls is, for that, it was a trend, right? That was just a thing. It's like, we can just add a pop of color and it would just be one wall accent and kind of thing like that. But it does, like you said, it sort of dates the place. It's not a current trend that we're seeing a lot now. So, wallpaper is really, really hot right now.
Andrea, a couple of years ago, suggested that I do like one wall with wallpaper, like a big floral thing. Oh my God, I love that wall. I love that wall.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit more of a, you're really making a commitment, right? When you're talking about wall covering, and a lot of people can be kind of scared of that. But what is really nice about it is, it can create texture. It could create, you have some pattern and some life to it. So it really does, you get a lot of bang for your buck. But it's one of those things where if you just get tired of the wall covering, you can't just paint. Well,
right. And is that why, like as a realtor, I see a lot of wall coverings in powder rooms? It's a smaller space, but it makes a big impact along with like a beautiful piece of, granite or marble or whatever's on the onyx on the counter, and then some kind of textured wall, something or other. It's just like bang. It's really, it can make a little powder room very sexy.
Yeah, it's a high impact space. I always think of a powder room as it's like a little jewel box, right?
Yes.
Usually there's no window, there's nothing, and you just open the door and you're like, "Ooh, what's inside?" And so it can just be anything that you can just make it amazing. Wall covering's a great way to do that in a powder room, but the mirror and the lighting and all those things come together, and it's a great space to really make a big splash, and it's memorable,
Very. Like we listed I don't know, it was like a $9 million house this summer, and it was new construction, and it was very white and modern, but the powder room was like dark gray. And it was like, ooh, it was so awesome. It had like a leather wall. Oh my God. Loved that bathroom so much. And it just was like the rest of the house was light, but this one room was like dark.
Yeah, and you can get away with it because it's not open to anything else. Right? You don't have to tie it in with anything. It can just be its own little surprise.
Yeah, and every time, I showed the house, everyone was like, "Oh my God, I love this bathroom." I'm like, "I know. Don't you want to just stay in here all day?"
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. So wall coverings are a good thing, and it could be a good way to come into your space and warm it up if you're kind of doing some of those things.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the chef's kitchen.
Yes.
What is a chef's kitchen?
Well, again, with everybody being home, right, and not being able to eat out at restaurants, and suddenly people have time on their hands to cook and to feed their families and things like that, I think it became it always is, right? In real estate, it's like the kitchen, you can sell the house. But chef's kitchen, basically, it has, this big stainless steel appliances, like the commercial type range, the nice commercial hood, and, all the bells and whistles.
All the bells and whistles. Yeah, chef's kitchen is like, we have left no stone unturned. We're doing it all.
Yeah.
What about two kitchens? So a lot of luxury homes do have like the cooking kitchen and then the show kitchen. And I definitely see when I have a luxury listing, buyers are coming in and they're like, "Where's the second kitchen?" I wouldn't actually cook on this beautiful onyx countertop. No, I would need another kitchen behind it. And I'm like, well, I guess you could put it over there or whatever. But is that something that you get requests for in a design phase very often, or is that kind of like a specialty thing?
Not a lot. A lot of times it's more like a really large, like a butler's pantry. And where the old butler's pantry were just a place to put, your china and stuff like that to serve food into the dining room. We're seeing more of like, that's a place where additional appliances and things like that are going to go as a way to do more prep or that kind of thing, but I personally haven't had the opportunity to do a second kitchen.
Dang it. We gotta do one. That's going to be our goal for next year is like, let's find a project where we do two kitchens. I am seeing the trend though that, it's nice to have the showed kitchen, but then it's okay to have the kitchen be a little bit, look like you're actually cooking in there. Wow. And that you're doing some work and you're making some good food, I guess I was inspired by that from Flora. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So,
let's talk
about Flora Farms for a couple minutes. So for those who don't know, who probably a lot of people don't know what Flora Farms is, but it is a beautiful organic farm to table. There's a restaurant, there are retail shops, there are cottages, there are these things called haylofts. It's a whole community. Now there's some houses on the beach or flats on the beach. And then a huge, what they call the mango grove, where they basically are growing all of their amazing food, produce. It's really incredible. And I've had the pleasure of staying there many a time. And Andrea and yourself, you guys got involved a couple of years ago. And tell us about that whole partnership and how that was, because I just want to say before you say anything else, it's freaking gorgeous and it's so cool. The design elements are so like bespoke. It's just really incredible and you're never going to find anything like that anywhere else. It's just like, it's one of a kind.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing property and the concept behind it is so luxurious and so, again, nature inspired, the whole thing, just, again, it's about the lifestyle, right? If you're staying there, when you come in, they have like all this fresh produce and the kitchens are set up and they call those cottages, the original cottages are called the culinary cottages, and you have harvesting rights to be able to go and pick out food that you want to cook. And, it's just an amazing, it's a paradise. It's just this oasis.
It is.
It's this oasis of just good living and
it's
beautiful.
Really incredible. And I definitely think that when they first built those, the cottages, which I think there's 9 or 10 of them, the idea was like, if you're buying one of these places, you're into cooking, you're into the culinary lifestyle, you want the farm to table thing. You get there and there's like all of your fresh vegetables that are whatever's in season then. They have them, right there on the counter for you. But one of the things that's so cool is like they have artisans that work there on the farm. They were hammering out all of the faucets. They were repurposing all of the stoves. The first time I stayed there, I didn't even know how to turn the stove on. I was like, it's like, it was a thing. And then the ice box is an ice box. So it's really an ice box. You can't, there's different levels in the fridge for your stuff. There's a little thermometer in there. It is so like just amazing. I've just never experienced anything like it. And by the way, I'm sorry, I just said it was in Mexico, but it's actually in outside of San Jose del Cabo. So you fly into Cabo, basically San Jose, and you really get on a dirt road and you get to this paradise. It's literally an oasis in the desert.
Yeah. I think that they were rated in one of the top 10 farm to table restaurants or resorts in the world.
It's really incredible.
Yeah, they're incredible. And what you're saying about the artisans that are making everything, really, in terms of being involved as a designer, it's just a dream because the creativity level is just endless because anything that you can really think of, they'll just make it. And then you literally we'd be like, oh, we're designing this vanity or whatever. And they would make it up and the meeting's going on and then 3 hours later, this vanity shows up. They're like, you like this? And I'm like, yeah, but
yes, we'll take
it's a little bit too tall. And then they just okay. And then come back later and how about that?
Oh my God.
So, but just the people and the craftsmen that are there, it's so inspiring. Just the work that they do, it's very unique and very focused on the experience. If we could take a little bit of that and bring it into our own home and our own place, to think about, okay, well, how can we resource things that are handcrafted? Because there's just a certain energy that's behind that just feels so wonderful, right?
Yeah.
So, it just makes you appreciate things in a nice way. But yeah, I just absolutely love working on that project because of that alone.
Right. Well, when we were talking the other day, you were telling me about how you had a hand in designing the pull-out bed, which was under the king bed in the the master bedroom of the haylofts, which was the second phase of Flora Farms, and I I mentioned to you that I had slept on that pullout before, and what you told me was, tell me more about that design. Like that,
Oh,
who thinks of
well,
this?
well,
You.
again, the owner that we were working with is very, very creative person, and they, when they're putting those together, they're trying to think of the type of the people and the groups of people that are going to be in that space, and they needed to be able to have it to be able to offer as two king beds. And so we came up with this idea to do it's basically like a trundle.
Yeah.
But it's king size trundle bed, and instead of coming out the side, it comes out the end. And literally, we designed it so that you could pull it out the end and sleep there, or you could keep pulling it outside and sleep outside.
Right, because people who haven't been there don't know, but it's there's doors right in front of it, and they go outside to basically this beautiful sitting area. There's also like a hot tub that looks like an old school like wooden tub. There's an outdoor shower, there's an outdoor kitchen, and so you pull it out there and you are looking out over like the whole desert basically. It's just incredible. And the thing I could not believe is the mattress quality and the way that you guys designed that pull out. It was like so comfortable. It wasn't like you're not on like a sofa bed. This is like a king size bed.
Well, and the other great thing I loved about it was instead of having it be pulled all the way under, we have it sitting out a little bit. So, and we designed the bed so that it kind of creates like a bench.
Yes.
Or like a little sofa that's in front of the bed. And so it just, it's nice to be able to be inventive and have somebody who can kind of produce the ideas. And it just made it, they just make it so easy to just come up with something new and try it out. And it works really great.
Yeah, that place is beautiful. Congratulations to both of you for all of the things that you do there. I mean, every time I go there, I just get goosebumps. It's just such a special place. I can't imagine as a professional to be able to have a hand in creating that environment. It just must be a huge feather in your cap.
Yeah, it really inspired me as well. Like when I first started going down there, and then we were looking for a home ourselves, and I was so enamored with the whole idea about having a place that you'd be able to grow some food and things like that. And so when we finally found a place, we got a place that had a little bit of land. We just have an acre, but all of a sudden I'm growing herbs and I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm like pretending.
Wait, your place is in Mexico?
What?
It's in Mexico?
No. My home here. Like I brought
your home here.
I brought the idea of that back.
Oh, I'm with you now. Sorry. Okay.
Just the flavor of it, it's like I love the paradise of that, and I like the idea of bringing some of that to me.
I think that's a good thing to talk about, because people, they go to places, and then, for instance, I went once to Mayakoba, Cancun, I think it was, and I stayed at this Rosewood resort, and the bathroom was like outrageous. I will never forget that bathroom because I loved it so much. And then, you go on these, if you're lucky enough to get to travel a little bit, you see something and you love it, and you can bring the idea home with you, and then you can call you and say, I want a spa bathroom.
Yeah.
Here's some pictures of where I went. I loved how they had the rocks all around the edge, or whatever it was, this tub or whatever. And then you're the person who can recreate that space based on an experience that, your client had that they want to bring home with them, right?
Yes, true. And that's a great place to start, right? To have something you are inspired by, to launch off of the idea. And yeah, that's what I do.
What if you're a person like me who likes every style? I'm like, oh, I love modern. Oh, I love farmhouse. Oh, I love this. Oh, I like this. I like this Mediterranean. What if, let's say that you have a home and that you want to do some remodeling, but you're just not sure which way to go? Would you recommend, like, I take pictures of things I like, or, start a little Pinterest page, or just like kind of put things together, and then when I come to you, I can be like, here's some of the things I like?
Yes. Yeah, that's a great place to start. And even if you as a person can't see the things that are in common in all of those pictures, that's what that's what I do. So even if you're pulling something, and this might look really different than the other picture, it's easy for me to see as a person outside looking in.
Yeah.
What's the common elements that she's responding to, and actually just getting to know you a little bit more helps me to understand, the different sides of yourself, the different parts of your personality to incorporate. And so, if that means that you're going to do a new Mediterranean farmhouse, modern Mediterranean, I don't know, let's make up our own style.
Mod med, yeah.
Yeah, let's do something new. Let's create our own style. And it's always fun to make up a new name for it too. But
that's really cool. I mean, I am a person who really needs you in my life, because I like so many things, and I always say I'm really good at real estate. I really know when I see a beautiful home and when something needs to be fixed, but in my own space, it's really hard for me to make a decision about what should happen, because I've seen all these houses and I'm like, oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. And then I really can't decide. So I need you to be like, okay, I see this commonality. One thing I know about myself is I really like greens. Even though I would never say green's a color that I love, but in my home, for some reason, I seem to gravitate towards teals and bluey greens. I don't know why.
Well, that's something you need to have it surrounding yourself in some way,
so.
Right?
I don't know. Way. Must be a calming color for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you on that.
Tell me if there's something that you want to talk about that maybe I missed. Anything that I forgot to hit on that you think our listeners might want to know about as they think about design, and especially going into, some people are not maybe they were thinking about selling their homes, and even though I'm a realtor and I want you to sell your home, obviously, maybe you're not going to right now. You're going to wait a little while, especially now it's the holidays. Some people are thinking, you know what, I might wait 6 months and I'm going to just do some remodeling, or I'm going to just stay here and, really just do what I always wanted to do, but I never did. Is that, where would you go? How would you start?
Well, I think it's a great idea to have a goal, and even if that goal is 6 months down the line, that's a really great. It's great to get started early, right? Because you can do some pre-planning. So, wouldn't it be great if you knew you had a client who wanted to sell, but they weren't quite ready, that you would have 6 months to actually give them a little bit of direction on what things they could be doing to make their home more appealing and, more sellable and that kind of thing. So it's interesting. I've done some things like that, and sorry to say, but sometimes they get it all done and they're like, wow, we don't need to go.
They don't want to go anymore. It's happened to me before.
They fall in love with their house all over again.
Which is great. I mean, I think that's great. And, there's always somebody else who wants to sell their house. So that's all good.
Yeah, no, it's just
ultimately we want our clients to be happy. No matter what house they're in,
but
we'll
that
sell
is
it one day.
Yeah, that is a common thing. It's again, they've just been there for so long and they can only see it a certain way. And it's easy to go around and look at places and go, well, that's beautiful and that's what I want, and that's easy. And if you're in that market and you're ready to go, that's great. But it is nice. I have done some consultations with people with their agent when they have that goal in mind, that down the road, so the things that they know they're going to do it with intent to make sure that they're not doing a big mistake and they're not putting up a red accent wall or whatever it is. It's okay, well, let's have a direction here so that when they're all done, and it's easy for you to list it and ready to go.
Okay, great. All right. Anything else before we close that you want people to know about? Besides, can you tell us your Instagram handle also?
It's just Laurie Chriest Interior Design, or at Laurie Chriest Interior Design. No, I just love what I do. I love working with people. I've had things have just been wonderful. Things are thriving right now. We've finished up a couple of really nice projects. We actually had a great, we had a feature in the Bellevue Lifestyle magazine.
Congratulations.
This last month.
Definitely, I saw it and it was awesome.
So that's really fun. And just working on a big remodel right now. where it was like a family home, and the next generation is taking the home, and he's,
wow.
We totally gutted it and adding all the things that they want, and they're just a really fun, beautiful young couple, and it's been very fun working with them. And then just the next phase on the lofts is what's coming up next.
Yeah,
so
that's good. So some trips to Mexico are in your future.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, good.
Fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I always have design on my mind, and that is why I thought that this would be a fun podcast. So I really appreciate you joining me today, and happy holidays. We'll put everything up so everybody can find you, and you can DM me if you have questions. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Well, you just give me a call if you need a little bit of me in your life. I'll come over.
I need a little bit of you in my life. I need a lot of bit of you in my life.
We can do a little makeover.
There's some things.
Well, yeah, we can help.
All right,
Whatever you need, honey.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Take care of yourself.
All right, thank you so much. And if it's happening in real time, we're going to talk about it on Real Time with Rachael.